that we need to discuss the elephant in the room when we talk in South Africa and doing a vlog around what's happening at the moment with load shedding. Everywhere you go, it's all anybody's talking about. It's the opening conversation. How did you get to work this morning? Were the traffic lights out? It's become more prolific a conversation on the weather in England. So how do you, as a business in South Africa, as a person in South Africa, find ways to cope with what appears to be initially fairly regular outages, but now that we're getting into it, they are not consistent. We can't be sure. We're sitting right here now where our power outage was supposed to be from 12 till 4:30 and went off at about 8:30.
Just after 8:30. Yes, so we're recording this vlog over the sound of diesel engines, and we're really lucky that we're in a building that has generators. I think if you're a smaller business and you're not lucky enough to have that kind of infrastructure or haven't been able to afford to put it in, you've got to firstly meet with your teams and say, how are you going to be impacted with the work that you do every day if we don't have electricity? How can we work around it?
And some of the issues clearly, so if you're in a business, for example, which you could work different hours, a lot of our staff commute long distances. So you can't say, hold on a moment, we're out from 12 to 4:30, everybody go home for 4 hours and be back here at 4:30 in the afternoon. That's just not practical. So there are practicalities that one needs to do. Bringing in small generators are one of the ways you can do it to at least keep your functionality going.
Yeah. And that does work. We used to practice that ourselves. But again, planning is key, because if you run out and about now to macro, you won't find one.
That's true. So I think some of the things are that employers are also going to have to be more flexible, and employees are going to have to find ways to get to work, to do work that is not electricity dependent in the times when there isn't power.
Yes.
So it is about careful planning. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal. But somewhere along the line, we are all going to have to find ways to work effectively through this. The government is promising us or asking us to be patient for 18 months to 2 years. At that point, a lot of businesses are not going to still be around. How do we need to listen to all the people who are currently talking about the alternatives. Inverters, there's one of the universities is talking about some things that they've put together that you are able to build on, start small and add to it. So my suggestion at this stage is listen to what's out there, do some research when you're online, and you can be, and find ways to create your own electricity. In Europe, a lot of people, a lot are off the grid.
Yeah. And even though they don't have the sunshine that we have.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the expense of going off the grid, if you're in a business, again, investigate with your bank, borrowing the money to put in a generator. From some of the people I listened to this morning, it appears that over a 5-year period, you are going to actually recover most of those costs and then be in a position to lose cost because of being off the grid. So there are different things that we can do to make ourselves a little bit more independent of what's currently happening. But this is not an easy solution or simple solution.